people took this information as a kind of mythology. You know what I'm saying? But now we're finding out the truth that it wasn't mythical. It was like real. So this book, it's a nice book. It's this Gundarsson guy, and it's like one of those lecture books. It's not like, he probably doesn't believe, I don't know what he believes, but it could be just like a guy in the school, like a university guy. He's not, who knows. It doesn't, like, it's not like a new age book. It's like a study book, you know. Let's look in the back, because I don't quite understand the book. And I don't know, I know like 50% of the Nordic religious stuff, these so-called gods and all this stuff, giants, wights, they live in a rock, stream, and ocean. These beings have been friends, foes, and even lovers. So he's a scholar, so I'm not looking at it for the guy's scholar stuff, because scholars are not spiritual, so he may not really believe in it. In Iceland, I'm looking for something. Let's open the book and see. It's not some kind of book you're going to sit there and read. There's the contents. It's all the same stuff from the back. He's saying these Elves, ALF, Alf, demonic stuff, Anglo, dwarves, finding them. But this is in Europe. We're not there. Otherworldly influence. Let's look at that. Page 98. Okay. What does that say? See, that's what he's saying. The scholar, they just see it as a belief, a social excuse, and then they made up a story. But we're beginning to find out that these things are not fake. They're not beliefs. It's real. A Dekarov. It looks funny, but it's synonymous with this word Dekarov. Looks like something else. Otherworld, there it is. Otherworldly influence. A human may shift into the other world. So I have read about this Eden Trollers. Where would it have Bigfoots in this? I don't think they're in this for some reason. Yes, Snorri. Snorri Sturluson. They're saying it's from India. Adarva. Now, why would it be from India if it's Nordic? See, it's a scholar book. You can't read it because they don't have a any first-hand experience. Just reading books and rewriting it and pretending to be an expert. That's why it doesn't make sense. See, it says Edens and gods, foes and friends, widely varied. One end of the spectrum, they eat the dead. I don't think so. No. The Wights. They're saying Wights are not the Elves and Idises. These are trolls. The hidden folk. There it is. It's called Huldra. Huldra. The hidden folk. Led to the death of the Norse colonies. They would not deal with the land Wights. That's America. It was the land Wights, dude. It says they dwell in the boulders. They wouldn't do the landscaping. If it involved moving trees or boulders. They dislike loud noises. Now, I want to know, does this translate to Sasquatch in America? Or these only live in the Saxon parts of the world? Like Iceland. So, let's see. It's a bunch of wordy book stuff. It's nothing you can take home with you, this book. Gunpowder. Look at this. Gunpowder and sulfur. See, this is the science, but the way they present it, everybody thinks, oh, it's just, they were superstitious back then. No, I think it's for real, and you think that sulfur, gunpowder is sulfur. And it says together with steel and or flint and coals or oven soot, All of these means we ward off supernatural harm. It's not supernatural. It's just higher density stuff. That's why people they think it's a belief system. So, different types of medicine bags. So I'm supposing that they got this idea from Native Americans when the Nordic people visited America and did trading with them. And all the records of that stuff's been destroyed, obviously. This is like, at least this has a record of what's known about these topics out of the sagas and different books, the Snorlason books. I'll show you. Sturluson, I mean. This guy. Snorri Sturluson. He wrote those books. The Edda. That's where they're getting this material, but those are like 1,000 pages and stuff. So there's like a little bit of a dictionary thing. Let's see what this really tells you. A land wight, spirit dwelling in, embodying a portion of the land or natural feature. The larger, wilder, and more hostile ones are most often called trolls, ettins, thyrses, and so forth. But it says it's a spirit. And Bigfoot aren't spirits. So that's weird. That means Bigfoots are living with these beings as well. That's not good. Right. No. See. Mjolnir. I know that. Runic stuff. Rights. That's a good way to get bad information. It's all been popularized in a negative way. Speaking with them. Here it is. It's a really bad idea. It's a bad idea to compel a wight or elf into doing what you want it to do against its will. You may succeed, but you're likely to find you don't like the final result much. Victicraft may prove useful in reaching such a being. And here the wight would speak with using the alder branch. See, I think these is talking about elemental beings. But I'm wondering, how come they know so much about that? But they don't have any Bigfoots? And it's, notice how it says otherworldly, but it doesn't say outer space or extraterrestrial. See? Why didn't it say that? That's only us? Now say that. It's weird. New World, it says. The Native Americans. It says the Native Americans recognized many of them and worked with them in their own ways. Tobacco offerings. And he had a pipe. It's saying that these beings migrated with the people. Dreams, soul sense, and workings. To speak to them. I don't think that's a good idea, Dad. Troll weather. A persistent drizzle. And a dark fog. Okay. Here's one. Mr. Thorner. He was on an island. It must be like in the North area. Cliff. Thor's Cliff. Headland. The wind was high and howled about. Low-lying swirling clouds enveloped the land. On one occasion, he saw what to be a dozen or so wild men. They were small, but they did not have long noses, with long, dark, bedraggled hair. He said it was like a ritual. A dance of primitive men. He was bewildered. And he had to get out of there. It's too freaky. Hell yeah, that's freaky. Well, changelings. I think we looked at that. Huh. Does this have something to do with Bigfoots, though? They had shapeshifter humans. So, I mean, everyone's heard these kind of tales, but since this book is so, like, detailed, I mean, it's not an easy subject to write about. It's just so inconsistent in the records. It's like kind of repetitive too. They didn't write like we do now. They wrote like stanzas and stuff. I don't really see. I don't see. Nightshade, it says. And mistletoe. So it's kind of like witchcraft and stuff that they're talking about. But if anybody that was doing this kind of interaction with these elementals, wouldn't they have put something about look at this. Anglo-Saxons, they don't have a word for demon. But these trying to find demonic possession, that's they didn't believe in that. That's something that the Christian church started talking about. I'm talking about dark, elves. These are all about, they call them spirits. But that guy that saw those wild people dancing, he didn't say they were spirits. So what would they say is the Bigfoot? If you went back in time and asked the priest or anybody involved in this, what do they call those? They never saw them in Europe, but they came to America. We know that for sure. There's no doubt that the Norwegians and they were here a long time ago. So, one last thing is go to the dictionary here. Glossary, I mean. Now, where does it say Bigfoot? The Alf appear in human form. That's not it. Dwarf or swart elves. That's from the underworld. That's not it. Edens. Giant. Larger and more powerful of Ymir's kin. Some are the greatest of land wights. Exist largely or wholly in the other worlds. I don't know. I don't see it. Well, they must have had an entire like, you know, catalog of different types of Edens, and then the Bigfoot were in that categories. So this book's pretty good though. It supposedly has another volume out there. About $20. Okay. There's a lot more here, but white mist folk. Huh. I'm gonna give it some thought. That's all we can do is speculate, really, and make our own conclusions. Wights. Bye-bye.